So over January, I have added £1,200 into my stocks and shares ISA. Now on its own, it doesn't sound like much, but actually, when you start to zoom out and unpeel the layers, it's quite a lot. And we're going to look at that progress in a bit. Because what I'm starting to see now, and you'll see it in the data, the dividends are rising. The growth is getting good. And more importantly, I'm hoping with those dividend payouts, with my contributions, we're going to start seeing the snowball effect in the next couple of years, very, very soon actually. So let's have a little look at what the portfolio is doing and the overall market and what we should be expecting over the next couple of months. If you don't know this yet, gold and silver are rampant. We need to look at some things and do some analysis on it because it's getting a bit dicey. If you like this sort of stuff, leave a like and comment what your portfolio is doing over the course of this month. Be good to know. Market context. Things are going a bit wild, right? Just going to put that point out there. Now, I do a lot of technical analysis. I'm going to talk a lot in this video about some analysis stuff that may well confuse you. I do apologize if it's too quick for you. I've been around for a bit. I know some technical stuff. I've been in the market a long time. I want to talk first and foremost about this, and I talked about it briefly on my X account yesterday. This is silver back in the financial crash. Now, in 2008 and 2009, I was still at school. I'm not that old. But the reality is, it gives me the creeps. It makes me worry a little bit. And I want to know your opinion as well. Because when we see assets and commodities like gold, like silver, going on an absolute tear, it makes me wonder why. And we could talk about the overall let's look at the UK market. The FTSE has and is doing the best I've seen for a very long time. And I often say to people, and I do believe this as well, I'm going to be brutally honest. Why don't UK investors focus more on UK stocks? And I know we're on a tear now, but even back in the day, growth isn't great. And I could do a video about growth versus dividends. And if you're in the UK, I do think the dividend side will win massively over the context of longevity in terms of time. We'll come on to that in a bit. When you see my own portfolio, you'll see it. And I'll probably forget to talk about it, but I will show you it. Just bear with me. So without the drama, the UK market's doing well. So is everything else. Like even the Japan market, even though there's crumblings across their bond market and interest rates, there's still stuff happening, which is very, very interesting. This is a fantastic period to be an investor, right? And if you do follow me on Instagram, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant later about new influencers, new people coming to the market with a following. View count means nothing in this market. Experience does, right? And you'll see that very, very quickly when things unravel, because they will eventually. At some point, there will be a crumble, there will be a crash, there will be a bit of a flip and a flap. It will happen. So let's talk about the obvious in the room, right? The VIX is doing some pretty crazy volatility moves at certain points. Nothing crazy enough for you to realize, but these little sharp spikes to the upside is areas of volatility. We have seen that across the board. My biggest concern to a lot of people's opinion is they're not worried about anything. I am, just saying it. Even though I'm still investing, I will look for security measures when I think things are going to break. Because long and short, right? Silver's flying, natural gas is flying, volatile in a way. That was over 25% yesterday, by the way, natural gas, just saying. We've got job falls in Spain. We've got consumer morale steady, which is a weird kind of situation there. And then we've got to talk about, obviously, the demand and the safe haven demand of, obviously, silver, as I've alluded to it. So we need to be very, very, very mindful of it. With tariffs, with Greenland, with Iran, with other bits and pieces and conflict, the geopolitical elements are mental. And yeah, we have to be careful. Even when we talk about the likes of the UK inflation, well, you can see very clearly we dropped a lot in November. We rose a little bit in December. We are coming up to a new one in the 18th of December. We'll see what the consensus is. But actually what they're predicting in terms of this website here is 3%. So it could be going down again. But it is probably unlikely that we're going to get an interest rate drop at any point soon. Well, for me, I feel like it's going to be like March time, probably not February. Certainly when you look at this, it'll be a green light if we get a rate cut on the 5th of February, put it that way. So, my portfolio. Nothing to scare you, but I did put £1,200 in. I've not changed anything. I'm very, very happy with my portfolio kind of holdings at the minute. I've not, it's consistent. I've got enough stocks. I've got enough funds. They're all doing well. This is just investment behavior. This is just me just going with the flow. I do have one problem. I have to find £5,500, which I probably will, to add until obviously April, and then it will reset. That's obviously the stocks and shares ISA system. In terms of the holdings, we'll go for it in a bit more detail in a second, but this is what we are looking at since I bought into them. They're quite new. As you know, if you've been following the channel, I've not really had this much portfolio sort of situation for a while. I do rebalance, so some of the numbers don't look great, but actually if I look at other data on Snowball, and I'll show you in a bit, they're better. Obviously at Aviva, I've actually done much better than what it portrays here. Same with like Tesco and Coca-Cola. I do rebalance. So when you rebalance, what it does is it'll take some of the profit and it'll redistribute it to the ones that are underperforming. So for example, if I do a rebalance now, some of the stuff like Drax, for example, which is doing unbelievable, will probably get plonked into the, say, Aviva fund, for example, or even Smith's or even Tesco, right? But I have made good money on all of those anyways, and you will see that in a bit. But as I say, we need to look at the overall performance and the overall metrics of passive income, all that kind of good stuff. Because when I go on to the likes of, say, Coca-Cola, for example, right? Or even we'll look at Tesco, you can see the overall performance is actually really good. It's quite healthy over the course of time. Total profit, obviously, total capital gains at the minute is quite low because there has been some drops. But ultimately, I have cashed out quite a bit over the course of time. So it depends on what you look at in terms of how you want to look at it, but ultimately it's done all right, to be fair. It just depends on where you are with the market. It is always good to kind of secure some bags and move it and redistribute it because sometimes things get a bit top heavy. However, thus been said, it's doing all right. I'm very, very happy. So let's look at the dividend side of it first. Yield on cost, 4.13%. So we're starting to see some stuff here. Some stuff's doing all right, some stuff's okay-ish. But overall, we're doing okay, right? In terms of the reality of it, the months are getting interesting. As you can see, so February coming up, we're going to get quite a biggie. We're going to get 348, which will be the second biggest throughout the year. June, obviously 654, which is rather large. So yeah, all good. And yeah, you can see over the course of time, I am getting dividends and dividends and dividends, which is great to see. And overall, as you can see, the metrics are getting bigger. They're getting larger, because my contributions have increased. They are getting bigger because I am putting in that £20,000 every single year, which will average out. And when you keep adding contributions, guess what? Your portfolio will pay you more with my type of portfolio, which is dividend growth, because that is just what I like in reality. So let's have a little look at some sort of other situations, because I think some stuff on here is often overlooked. In terms of my portfolio metrics, this is what we need to look at, because I feel I'm doing all right, realistically. PE ratio is nothing crazy. That's good. We've got the Sharpe ratio, which shows how well probability compensates for risk. I'm okay. I'm at the good point. And then we have the volatility risk and stuff like that. It's quite low. I don't want a volatile market. I don't want a volatile portfolio. I want this simple and easy. And even the risk-adjusted return, it's doing okay. So overall, if you are copying my pie, you're probably finding it quite easy right now, which is good. But that could all change at any point. But even though I do talk about it, this is a very big purple patch for the market. We are looking at some very, very interesting times. It won't be easy all the time, put it that way. It could change at any moment. So yeah, if you're interested in this tool, there's a link below. It's called Snowball Analytics. It gives you a lot more data at a hands-on point. I do think trading 2-on-2 is good for some things, but terrible for analysis because they've got weird kind of terms that kind of mess up your portfolio. This gives you it the nitty-gritty sort of style, and it does make obvious sense. Certainly when you look back. And as I said before, look at Drax, right? What you see on trading 2-on-2 is I'm up £800 in the pie, but actually I'm up 1,583. And yeah, it's doing really, really well. I'm getting dividends off that. And, you can see overall, I've been buying this for a long time and I've been gradually adding to it, and off we go. And yeah, there's certain orange points, which is me rebalancing it at certain points, which does help when you have a portfolio. But realistically, we need to look at the goal and the dates and around these goals, because when we talk about like contributions, and even though I said at the start of this video, £1,200, what is that going to do in terms of overall over a month? Well, actually it's 14,400. If you're looking to get this portfolio, say to 600,000, just a random number, right? And I talk about this in kind of obvious terms. It's in 14 years, and that's in 2040. Even if I'm only putting 1,200 in, that is based off my numbers of returns and reinvested dividends on the growth of those dividends. That is unbelievable. And that's the thing, you need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because I think a lot of people are getting to the point of, oh my God, you're putting that much in. Oh, it's not a lot, is it? And then you come to another YouTuber and go, wow, he's got 600 grand or whatever. And you think, well, actually, they started in 2009. You get the idea. So you got to look at that situation. Compounding and income growth is massive. You got to be looking at this at a longer point. So for me, my goal, as you should know, is 1 million, technically, with filling out my ISA completely, give or take. The problem with this is we're going to have inflation. Inflation will probably put this number way above that point, so you may well hit it a lot earlier. It just depends, are we on the safe scenario or are we on the normal portfolio value, which I get. So I'm hoping in the next 10 years, things are going to look very, very juicy, certainly when we talk about the income side of it, because that is where, and I alluded to before, where the magic happens. Because nothing annoys me more than seeing a brand new influencer telling people don't buy dividend paying stocks because you're not going to make enough money. I'm sorry, but if I'm looking at my portfolio on either the safe scenario or my own portfolio, by 2030, which is not that long away, if I keep adding the contributions and my dividends remain roughly the same sort of yield, or even the growth stays roughly the same, it will pay me an extra £10,000 per year, which will make my allocation go to 30. I would rather invest more and have more money of my, from income going into this portfolio to make me more than hoping my portfolio grows in value, because you have to take profit on that. Okay, I'm hoping that makes sense. But as I say, there's a link below to this tool. I highly recommend it. But I'm going to show you a little thing that I've built now, which I'm quite excited about, which will hopefully tell you stuff beforehand, and then you can jump in here with your own portfolio. If you want to, by the way, you can make up a fake portfolio, a watch list portfolio, and you can see the data before you invest as well. Because what I've built is my own website. It's coming, and it's going to have a lot of information here, all in one place pretty much. I'm going to not be promoting this massively yet, because I'm still, obviously, as you can see, we're building in public. It's not a lot on there. But I do have an investment calculator, which I have built from scratch. And this kind of annotates what it looks like and how it kind of works. But I do find that when we are talking about the obvious of, I want to invest, what the hell do I do? And you see a lot of these tools anyways, right? It's fine. But even if you put in £1,000 and £100 per month and an average return of, say, 8 or 7%, whatever the average is for whatever fund you're in, even if you go in no dividend yield for a period of, say, 20 years, sweet, that's awesome. You're going to make some decent money. You might have a bit of a nest egg there for when you come to retire. You draw down from your ISA, so to speak, or whatever you want to do it as. And then guess what? You can maybe retire a little bit early, or you can reduce your working hours. That's great. But ultimately, if you start adding dividends to it and reinvesting those dividends, look at how much that grows. Don't be naive to it, right? Please. Even though they don't grow as much, you could find a decent fund that will help you massively with income, and then you can draw off that income, and then you don't have to take as much profit, right? But as I say, going down a tangent, this is my own website. I'm looking to build an absolute monster here. I'm not gonna lie, I got the bit between my teeth now. Obviously, plan versus reality, that will lead you into snowball if you want to do it real. But as I say, there's going to be articles from videos coming on here soon. There will be other tools. There already is tools. There's mortgage stuff. Let me just showcase this for you. There you go. There's mortgage stuff, and there's pension calculators as well. There will be more tools. There is a membership option to a newsletter, and obviously other deep dive articles which will be released. They're not on there yet. But yeah, you get the idea. So if you are interested, there's a link below. It's free to jump in and support me along the way. But that's us. We're done. And I'm going to go on the tangent again and say, well, you should probably watch this video about living on dividends, because I think, as I say, in the UK, they're good. Very, very good. Especially if they're tax-free. Oh, awesome.